Good evening and welcome to this Monday night edition of Cup of Tea and Case Studies. Thanks for everybody joining us already in the chat. It is looking pretty busy to start off with. How are we doing on this Monday night? Hope you're well. Hit us up in the chat, see how things are going, what you've been up to. Hope you've had a good weekend. How's the revision going for the final exams? Yeah, let us know how things are. We'll say our lows as well in a few moments. So oh, the neighbours' dogs are barking in. So please, hit us up and say how things are. Hello to our mods. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us in the chat tonight. Who else is in? Will. Good to see you, Will. Thanks for joining us. And Ellis Jones as well. Shout out to you as well. Good to see you. Arson, always a regular on these live streams. Good to see you as well. And Harry. Good to see you, Harry. Nice one. Glad you could join us this evening. 24 in the live stream. This is brilliant. And we also got WBA, West Bromwich Albion, Joe, I'm guessing. Shout out to West Brom. If you haven't noticed, I've lost my voice because I went to the Derby match at the weekend and I was celebrating the Derby. Laura, good to see you, Laura. Thank you for joining us. It's fantastic to have you in the chat as well. And say hi to Ellis. Hi, Ellis. Yeah, please share the live stream if you want anybody else to jump on. You can do that quite easily just below the video. Amna, good to see you, Amna, and hope all is well. Let us know how things are going. And Jay as well, and Imogen, all the regulars are joining us. It's good to see you guys as well. James is here. Good to see you, James. Hello. And Demny as well. Fantastic to see you on the Monday night live stream. So what's been happening? Yes. There you go. Definitely not a red here. It's black and white all the way, or colour because it's geography, obviously. Always got colours. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do the desertification case study, a popular one, and I think could potentially be very popular in 2024 summer series. So hopefully you've got all your equipment ready to do today's case study. And if you're new, what do you need? Well, I'll just I'll show you what you need first of all to get you through your revision. Let me just present this one, share screen. There we go. So hopefully that is sharing. There you go, guys. That's the first thing you need for Cup of Tea and Case Studies is a cup of tea. What have you got on standby? What drinks have you got here to get you through tonight's case study? There you go. There's my brew. Always a biscuit as well. Never tend to eat it though. There's a little chocolate covered hobnob biscuit or something. Yeah, really nice and tasty as well. So what have you got to get you through tonight's revision? Hopefully got some treats on standby because you do need some treats to keep you going. Because revision, it's important, but it's not always the best thing to be doing, is it? But a cup of tea and a biscuit always gets you through. So hit us up in the comments. What have you got to get you through tonight's live stream? Also, guys, you're going to need your revision books, line paper or plain. I always go for plain paper. A pen, essential bit of kit, and also your coloured crayons, because it is geography. You can need your coloured crayons to make your case study nice and colourful. And easy to remember, easy to revise as well. It's all about those. So if you haven't got your paper, revision book, pencils and a pen, go grab them very quickly. You've got about 2 minutes maximum before we start tonight's case study as well. Hit that like button, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button. It all really helps to push out this revision video to other fellow geographers who also love to learn on a Monday night. We're going to start in about a minute's time. Yo, sir, did you get on the pitch? No. Stuck to the rules. I stayed in the stands. Amna, Emily said hi. Hi, Emily. Good to see you, Emily. Thanks for joining us as well. Big shout out to you girls. Thanks for the hearts in the chat as well. It all helps the YouTube algorithm and helps to grow the channel. If you're new to the channel, then we are here every Monday night, term time only, and we're going to do some geography case studies. Big shout out to Mrs. Wright's Barmy Army at EDA. Yeah, big love to EDA. That's my previous school. Lots and lots of love. Got some great teachers there. Shout out to Laura. I don't know him as first names. Laura, Lauren, and the Mr. Hall as well. Big shout out to Miss Wright and Mr. Hall as well. Great little geography team you've got there as well. Shania, thanks for joining us and commenting as well. Really appreciate it. Good to see you. Stepdad got on the pitch. He'll be fine. He won't get banned, hopefully not. And Miss Wright, hello. Right, I think it's time to get started, guys. Are we ready? Got everything ready? Let's just have a last slurp of tea. And then we'll get started. So, desertification. Why have I chosen this case study? I think you might need this one this summer. Well, you probably need all your case studies, but this one particularly could be very, very helpful. Big shout out to everybody who's joined us for tonight. So what we're going to cover is what desertification is, some facts and figures that you can always put in a 6 or a 9 marker, causes, impacts, and management of desertification as well. So that's what we're going to cover in tonight's live stream. So here we are, guys. Right, are you ready? Here we go. So we're going to have a little title here, desertification. It comes under hot deserts. Desertification. There we go. Nice little title page there. I might need to zoom in a little bit there, guys, for you. There we go. Desertification. And it comes under hot deserts. AQA, it's question 2. That's where it comes under. And it's usually a common feature. Not quite as common as plants animal adaptations. So shout out if you're revising those, but it comes pretty close. And I think this year it could be the year for desertification. So let's get learning. So I'm going to go to the top left-hand corner here. We're going to get the definition, some of the key facts about desertification to get us started. Okay. So desertification, let's get the definition down. This is the AQA definition. Desertification. But just before we do that, guys, hit us up in the chat if you know what desertification is. Bit of revision. Who can tell us what desertification is? Who's watching? How are we getting on? Anybody daring? The process to which land becomes degraded. Okay. The process to which land becomes, let's just zoom you in there, guys, so you can see. The process to which land becomes degraded, usually due to human activity, could be a number, human activities, or climate change. So that is the official definition. If you're working for AQA this summer and you're trying to impress them, that is it. The key word here is land degradation, where the land becomes degraded. So I'm just going to highlight that. It's another geographical word for damage. The land becomes damaged over time. So we'll have a little picture here. Let's just get a little picture here underneath our title. And we're going from kind of like scrubland, yeah, to desert. Now, if you're only just joining us, guys, my artwork is not the best, but once we get some colour on there, so this is what it is. It's where you go from scrubland, semi-desert, where you've got kind of grasses and some thorny bushes, yeah, and importantly, some fertile soil. There we go, into semi-desert. So that's essentially what it is there. So we've got desert on this side, and we've got semi-desert on this side. There we go. Do we need to zoom in a bit more? There we go, guys. Here it is. Let's get in focus. So there we go. So the process by which land becomes degraded, usually due to human activity or climate change, semi-desert, scrubland. I don't know if I can put scrub in here. It is revision, guys, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Scrubland into desert areas. So that is it. So let's get some facts. Why do we care about this? We'll put some facts here. Some facts about desertification. It's always good to drop some facts into your case studies. So our first fact is 12 million hectares, HA, of land becomes desertified each year, which is a hectare, roughly a football pitch, 12 million football pitches. Wow. It's a lot, isn't it? I mean, it's difficult to quantify these numbers, but they're always good to have in a case study. Here's some more facts then. Why else do we care about desertification? It impacts a lot of people. Here we go. Let's draw some people. Times 1.5 million people are impacted by desertification around the world. These people usually live on the margins of deserts. Margins of deserts. On the edge. That word there, margins, I'm going to highlight that word margins because it's like a trigger word. But yeah, 1.5 million people live on the margins of deserts and are impacted by desertification. We've got 2 more facts, guys. Again, you can impress your examiners with these little facts. By 2030, when all your exams are done, so by 2030, 50 million people displaced by desertification. So basically, they are unable to farm the lands. They're unable to be sustained by the land, either for food or water or wherever, and they will leave. Displaced, which basically means they're going to have to go. So again, off they go. Little pictures, guys, always help with your case studies. They're forced off the land. There we go. The little pictures there always add to it. We've got one more fact for our fact file on desertification. And then we will go on to the very common question, which is the causes of 12 million hectares become, So our last little fact comes from the United Nations. So this must be a good one. United Nations, which say 122 countries currently impacted by desertification. So that is a significant number. 120 countries globally are impacted by some sort of desertification or land degradation. So land damage. Degradation. There we go. So there we go. That's so far so good. So we've got, let me just put scrubland here. This is what I end up doing, guys. I end up just going back and tweaking little bits. So desertification, we've got the definition, we've got some facts. That is why it's such an important process to know about. 20, 30, 50 million families, people will have to leave their land because their land can't sustain them any longer due to desertification processes affecting globally at lots and lots of places. In fact, let's just put some places in here because obviously places are really important. So you can name drop some examples. So we're going to go big here, guys. We're going to go big with some names. So let's go with Burkina Faso is one that a lot of geographers refer to. Burkina Faso. We'll go for Senegal, West Africa. We'll go for Sudan. Oh, you're really going to impress the examiners here. All of which, these ones are in the Sahel region, which I'm going to draw a little map in a minute. The Sahel region is just south of the Sahara Desert. So there is that. Don't worry about how neat your writing is, guys. I'm here for you. My writing is not the neatest, but it's all about the quality of revision. And then we'll go for, so these are all in the Sahel region, Sub-Saharan Africa. We're then going to go for the Aral Sea region. Aral Sea region. So countries around the Aral Sea were impacted by desertification due to the irrigation of cotton farms. So they diverted water supplies around the Aral Sea to irrigate cotton farms, and that led to desertification. So let's have a quick map here. Forgive me. This is our little map of Africa. It won't be perfect. There we go. But that will do. Here is the Sahara Desert in North Africa, which is the world's largest hot desert. So the Sahara Desert is here. And then below that here is the Sahel region. There we go. This is the Sahel region. I'll put that on. Just squeeze that in and give it a little bit of colour. I'm going to colour that in orange. There we go. You've got to have a bit of colour, haven't we, guys? A bit of geography therapy. And there is the Sahara Desert. So, yeah, it's in sub-Saharan Africa. And these countries here are all part of the Sahel region, plus many others. Now, if someone can hit me up in the comments, how many countries are in the Sahel region? Who knows the answer to that one? Here it is. We'll just put sub-Saharan Africa as well. The continent of Africa. There we go. Place names are really, really important. And desertification occurs here in the Sahel region on the edge of the Sahara Desert. There we go. 12 is, oh, let's have a quick look. Fascinating facts here. Let's have a look. Moderator said Sahara Desert is 10% larger today than it was in, wow. Well, get that fact in. That's a really good fact. Thanks, moderators. 10% larger. So obviously the deserts are spreading. Yeah, that's how some people remember it, actually. Let's put it up here. Deserts spreading. That's how some geographers remember this in their exams. So desertification is desert spreading. That links really well to that fact there. The Sahara Desert is 10% larger than it was in 1920. Miss Wright's giving us a wave. She is. 12, 10, 9. We're counting down to the end of the live stream, guys. Will says 10. Will says 12. Harry says 10. And someone else looks like they're very hot. Well, it is hot deserts, Ellis, so we'll go with that. 12. There we go, Will. 12 is the correct answer, I believe. I think it's either 11 or 12, not 327. No, it's either 11 or 12. Because obviously you've had the split of South Sudan and things like that as well. But yeah, a number of countries. Right, let's drop down then, guys. Hopefully you're keeping up. There's mine so far. There we go. Let's get the extendable lead out so you can see the whole page. So I've still got a lot of page over here. Impacts and management. We're going to go with causes down here in this section. Right. Any questions so far, guys? Hit us up in the chat if you've got any questions so far. We're now going to do the very important causes of desertification, which I might actually put over here because I need a big gap. Yeah, let's put the causes over this bit, I think, here. Okay, so we're going top right, guys, with this one. So moderator said, used to be 10 countries. I don't know if it's changed. Yeah. Well, let's just say there's a number of countries. I think it's 11, but you think 10 and 12. Somewhere in between. Causes of desertification. 12 is the most common answer. So this is a really common question in your exam, guys. It is, how do kind of human activities impact on desert areas? So how do human activities impact on desert areas? If you go through the past papers, you will have seen that question maybe once or twice. And often they give you a picture as well, which is really nice. But this is the causes. So here we go. Hit us up in the chat, guys. What causes desertification? Who's going to get a shout out here? Who's going to get the right answers? We've got, let me just check, 6 potential causes of desertification. So can you name any of the top 6? We're just seeing if any of them are coming in. I'm just going to see if anybody's causes of desertification, they are coming in. The first correct answer is climate change. Right. Should we put that one in first then? Oh. Throw in my pen. So climate change is in the definition, and it is one of the causes. I'll come back to the others. And we'll just put an arrow going up. So there's our heating of the earth. There we go. Little pictures, guys. It just brightens up your revision, doesn't it? Climate change. And global temperatures are going up to about 2 degrees since post-industrial times. So we have had nearly a 2-degree rise in temperatures since pre-industrial times, which is what we measure it. There's so many answers in the chat, guys. I'll come to you in a moment. Climate change, well done. Shania, who else said? Ellis, nice one, Ellis. Yeah, climate. You've actually got another one there, actually, because rainfall patterns have changed, which is kind of what you are getting at there as well. Maybe linked to climate change. So well done, Ellis. That's a really good one. Climate variations. 2 main factors. Yeah, so yeah, you have got something, Will, as well there. So let's have a look at these 2 climate ones then. So climate change. We've had, so climate change. Have seen a decrease in precipitation or rainfall. So we have a decrease in precipitation and a 2-degree rise in temperatures. We've also seen a 30% increase, so 30% of the Earth's surface. The Earth's surface drying out. That's the Earth's land surface, guys. Yeah, so 30% of the Earth's land surface is drying out. I think I need to put the main thing here, the main cause of desertification. I'm going to put it up here. This is going to be probably the most important box, and I'll put it in the top right. Reason why desertification happens is the removal of the protective vegetation layer. So something has to remove that protective vegetation layer from the surface, and then it exposes the soil. So all of these exposes the soil to wind, in particular in deserts, the wind, the high temperatures, and the occasional rainfall. So desertification happens when the protective layer of vegetation is removed for whatever reason. And the first one is climate change. Let me just zoom you in, guys. There we go. So removal of the protective vegetation layer, which exposes the soil to wind and water and the high temperatures. So if the vegetation layer remained, then we wouldn't get the desertification happening. I'm going to go back to Will's one, which I think was very good. Oh, we're on it here. Yeah, climate variations. So, draw a little picture. Maybe I can draw like a rain cloud, but with a cross through it, basically. So as you know, guys, in the UK, we've had real changes to our weather recently. One of the wettest Aprils ever. And yeah, there's variations in climate patterns which do affect desertification. So climate variations. I'm even going to use your terminology there, Will. Thanks for that. And who else? Ellis as well. Yeah. So climate. Oh, that one should say climate change, guys. Sorry. So climate change, climate variations. Lack of rainfall / redistribution of rainfall. So it's in other areas, not over the kind of Sahel region, redistribution of rainfall. And let's just put a little fact to that. Burkina Faso now has 8/9 months dry season. So they've reported, the elders in areas of Burkina Faso who have lived there a long time have reported that some areas now experience 8 to 9 months dry season. So significantly changing. Right, well done. Right, let's go to another correct answer then. Human activities, absolutely. So let's have a look at some of them. Will celebrating his answer. Nice one. Right, we're going to go here. Population growth. So this next one is population growth, because this like links onto all the others then. So areas like the Sahel have experienced rapid population growth, high fertility rates. So I'm just going to draw a little up arrow here. So fertility rates have gone up. That's births, basically. Birth rates, fertility rates have all increased. Hopefully still there. There we go. So we're going to just put rapid population growth. Rapid population growth. And with all these new people and the population growing, they're going to need resources. And this is where it really gets stressful for the land, because the resources are going to come from the land, from the soil. And this is the other great answers that we've got in our chat. So who got the first here? So I think, yeah, James, you are correct. But Jay has the technical term, overgrazing. We're now going to do the overs, guys. Overgrazing. So how the hell do you draw cows or cattle? There we go. So the farmers, usually nomadic farmers, will put their cattle, usually goats. They're often goat herders rather than cows. You don't see many cows in deserts, do you? But the margins of deserts, we tend to see goat herding. And effectively, they take their goats to where it's nice pasture. And then the goats will graze and expose the soil. So here, the goats will remove the protective vegetation layer that protects the soil, exposing it to the elements. So nomadic farmers, which they basically means they move around. Nomadic farmers overgraze the margins of deserts, usually with goats herds of goats. And the goats obviously used as food source. They're used for milk, all sorts of wonderful things like that. And they'll just graze the goats on there. And basically then that leads to the soil. Soil becomes exposed to winds, temps, and water. Yeah, and that will then be eroded. Someone's put the word soil erosion, so I think we should put in somewhere soil erosion, because it is a very important term when you're talking about desertification, the deterioration of soil, the removal of soil by wind and water. That is soil erosion. So nomadic farming, overgraze or overgrazing of land. Right, let's have a look. Overgrazing. Yeah. Now, this one, overusing land for crops. Harry, you're spot on. It's called overcultivation. Overcultivation, this one is. So we'll put that one in. Where you stress the soils because you need to grow all this new extra food for your growing population. So effectively, you just end up over farming because you are trying to grow essential food, which then causes stress on the soil. And it ends up, becoming devoid or lacking nutrients because you've just overworked that land so much that now that soil becomes stressed. And then we're going to put the word infertile soil. It's lacking its nutrients. Infertile soil. So the farmer, what does the farmer do? The farmer clearly just goes off and finds another area of land to clear to farm again. And this is how the problem spreads. So overcultivation leads to a depletion of nutrients in the soil. Then the farmer clears new areas of land. So basically then he moves on, finds another area to clear, and then that becomes exposed again to erosion and desertification. So there you go. Overcultivation, the depletion of nutrients in the soil. The farmer clears new areas of land, and obviously then the problem spreads to elsewhere. The last one we're going to do is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, is the last one. We've got one more to do, and someone has said it, and it's the moderator. Well done. Deforestation. Deforestation. Has somebody else put that? Population growth, overgrazing. Great answers. There you go, guys. Shout out from Miss Wright. And representing. Excellent. Yeah, so deforestation is the last one, guys. So let's just put this one in. Deforestation. And that is usually for fuel wood. So people cut down trees in these countries to access wood or fuel wood, but in doing so, that will expose the ground to intense heat. Now I'm trying to get the sun on here. There we go. And that will just dry out the land because the trees would normally shade the ground. They normally shade the soil. The roots of the trees help to bind the soil. But obviously when the tree is no longer there, has been cleared, that area then becomes exposed to the intense heat that you find in the Sahel region. So deforestation, usually for fuel wood, exposes the soil to desertification processes. So there we go, guys. Right. So that is the causes. Let me zoom out. You're doing so well. They're the main causes. Climate variation changes, rapid population growth, overgrazing, overcultivation, and deforestation. You've done well there in the chat, guys. So let's just go for this next bit then. This one's going to be a very... In fact, I might need a little section down here, actually. We're going to go for impacts just briefly. Impacts of desertification is going to be down here, where my examples are. I need a small area for impacts. So, what are the impacts, guys, of desertification? Let us know in the chat. Hit us up. Impacts of desertification. Just whilst I catch up. Demney, irrigation, yeah. So the Aral Sea, cotton farming, they diverted water supplies, which then dried up the land around the Aral Sea. Fun fact. We love a geography fun fact. I always start with a fun fact. Everybody's listening. 4 billion tons of annual soil is lost due to water erosion. There you go. Someone's been sin-binned, got a red card. Don't know who that is. A lot of love for Miss Wright. Reduce. Oh, now they're coming in. They're coming in. Ellis. Awesome. So let's go to impacts. We could even try and classify these into social, economic, and environmental, but we'll just put them down and then we'll do a little key, shall we? So in fact, we'll do a little key to start with. Social, economic. Some of them might be both, might they? And environmental. Environmental. So I'm not going to go into too much detail with these ones, guys. In the exam, you can elaborate on them a little bit more detail. Using this means that sentences. Remember, if you add that sentence, this means that it will add to your exam answers. Or, so what? Remember, if you put a full stop, so what? Then develop it a little bit further. So let's go to our first correct answer. I think, it was Ellis. Reduce crop yields. Yeah, let's put that one in then. Reduced crop yields. I love your terminology there, by the way. If you're not sure what that means, guys, it means basically that the farmer will have less crops growing, either to sell or to self-sustain the family. Most of them are subsistence farmers. Let's just zoom you back into the impacts, guys. There you go. There we go. That's my little key. Reduce crop yields. What is that? That's socio-economic, isn't it, really? It's going to affect people's food, but also in these areas, it's actually a traded good. So, yeah, it's classed as, there we go, socio-economic. So mine is blue and orange. Demney, awesome. Not that, that's not awesome, loss of biodiversity. That is a sad thing, but it's a very good answer. So let's just do a dead skeleton. That's a skeleton, by the way, guys. It's a good answer, though. Loss of biodiversity. Yeah, if you remove the trees, you remove the shrubs, scrubland, you remove the grasses and all that sort of stuff, you are going to impact on biodiversity. So for me, that's green for environmental. We might see a little pattern, you see, guys. Ellis, I don't know if you have like reward points at your school, but you need to make sure you tell your teacher you deserve a reward point for these answers, by the way. Food shortages. Yeah. So I'm going to put here, I'm going to change it slightly, if you don't mind. I'm going to put food scarcity. It kind of links a little bit better to AQA. I don't know what food looks like. That's just a sandwich or something. What the hell is that picture? I don't know. Might be a burger. Obviously, it wouldn't be in a desert area, would it? But a lack of food. Food scarcity is Oh, we're going to go for famine as well. Put another keyword in. So things like famine could be one, and that would be social. Thanks for the heart, guys. Whoever sent the heart there. Right. Food shortages. Amna, you are spot on as well. Well done, Amna. Lack of water. Yeah, this is true. Seasonal rivers dry up. Can I get this one down here? Maybe I put it here, shall I? Just because of the change in temperatures. So this is a seasonal river. Poor water management, really. So this is my riverbed that's looking a little bit dry. Yeah, start to dry up here. Seasonal rivers dry up. Again, that links to loss of biodiversity, doesn't it? So we can put a little arrow there. Well done, guys. And that is environmental. I'm sure you knew that, right? Ooh, loss. This one's. Let me just read this one. Loss of biodiversity by worsening living conditions. Food insecurity. Yeah, food scarcity. Yeah, you could also call it insecurity. It's a really good term, Will. Impress. Reduced crop yields. We've got that one. Loss of vegetation. Yeah, loss of biodiversity. Let's do loss of vegetation then. We'll just do it as a separate one. It's not getting a picture of this one. But definitely that's what desertification is, isn't it? It's the loss of vegetation, which is critical to soil health and protecting the land. Yeah. Good. You can't type that quick, mate. People chatting to themselves. Next time, draw a little skull. What, for the deaf? Maybe. Right, okay. Fun fact about 6.3 million people in the Sahel. Let's add that then. Thanks, Mod. We do love the mods coming up with a little facts. 6.3 million people are affected by this in the Sahel. Food insecurity due to land mismanagement, not managing the land properly, overgrazing, overcultivation, and not really managing that land effectively. I'm going to give you a few more, guys, that I've come up with. Lack of maybe it's kind of linked to the one next to it. Food is malnutrition, lack of food and water. Sorry about the stick, man. Probably not very appropriate for malnutrition and increased poverty. I'm going to have that one. Poverty, yeah, or deprivation. That would be an economic one, wouldn't it? Malnutrition is social, economic, increased poverty, malnutrition. Right. We've got one more, which is a bit of a strange one, but air pollution from the dust. Because all the land, the soil is exposed, it does create dust clouds, which can then lead to respiratory problems, breathing difficulties. Just because the land is exposed, the soil becomes dry, and the winds come up, and we get dust storms. So maybe we can just put a bit of, there we go, a bit of dust in the air. So that would be last one, social impact. So let's have a little look then. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 social, 3 environmental, and kind of 1 or 2 economic. So this problem is largely created by people. It's caused by human activities and then largely impacting people, social impact. So there you go. People causing their own damage to their own kind of natural system in the areas like the Sahel. So It's not all bad though, guys. Now, this is a very important section. It's the management. So I'm just going to section off this little bit of the diagram here. Just so that's in there. And then I'll just take that up to there. And then bring that across. Just give it some sections, that's all. You guys are absolutely smashing this case study. Really, really good. And this last section, if you have a little look here, is, you can see this area here, look, it's looking really good. I hope yours are looking good, guys. Let us know in the chat, are you pleased with it? We're going to do management now. This is very, very important section, the effective management of desertification. So how do we manage these areas? Management. With these socio-environmental impacts, largely socio-environmental impacts. Okay, management of desertification. Hit us up in the chat, guys. How do you manage, prevent, limit desertification? We'll put them all down on here. Again, there's about 4 or 5 really effective methods, but how do you manage desertification? I'll just give you a couple of, well, a minute. Hey, let's have a sip of tea, shall we? Oh, that's lovely. Ooh, some really good answers, guys, in the chat. This is probably the most likely area to come up if it does. So we'll try and get some really good answers in this area. So, right, all answers in. Answers in. 10 seconds. Okay, so we're going to start with Amna. Well done, you. Correct answer. Planting trees or afforestation. So let's put that one. In fact, I just want to draw why tree planting is such a beneficial activity. Okay, so I'm just going to draw my tree here and get some really good root systems. Okay, so one of the most effective ways to tackle desertification is to plant trees in the areas. Obviously, this is getting trees to grow in areas where there's not much water already is quite a tricky thing, but certain tree species will survive. So why does planting trees work? So the first one, let's just zoom you in, guys, here a little bit more so you get a closer look. So planting trees, it does 2 things. So here's the first one. The roots bind the soil together. So this stops the wind or the water moving that soil away. And also, just to be a little bit geeky, the most fertile bit is the top 2 to 5 centimeters. So that's the fertile bit. It's called your topsoil. That's where all your nutrients are. That's what the farmer really wants to use. It's nutrient rich, the topsoil. So that's the bit that's getting protected by the roots being holding it in place. So there's my topsoil. If you're into gardening, you'll know that. Also, it's not just that, guys. The tree itself, and this is where I've drawn it, will cast a shadow onto the ground. And also these shadows help to keep the soil cool. So decrease soil temps. This is getting very technical, but very good for the exam. So it'll decrease your soil temps and increase your soil moisture. So actually the soil remains a bit more damp, less likely to be blown away by those desert winds. So yeah, there you go. That's why tree planting is so important. So let's go to a really good example. And I think somebody's kind of mentioned it here. When you're talking about tree planting, guys, we've got to mention the Great Green Wall. In fact, it's going to get a big capital. The Great Green Wall. Okay, you may have heard of the Great Green Wall. It's a row of trees that's been planted along the southern area of the Sahara Desert. So the Great Green Wall is tree planting in the Sahel region. So they planted all these trees along the Sahel region to limit the spread of the desert, and it involves planting trees to protect the soil and things like that. The scheme itself, just to be really geeky, was developed by the United Nations. So this is going for like grade 7. Convention, United Nations Convention to combat desertification. So that was the organization. If you're going to be going for grade 9s, that will really help you. That set up the Great Green Wall Initiative, UNCCD, the Great Green Wall, which is basically a row of trees on the margin of the desert. Desert margin to halt the spread of desertification. It started in Senegal. Senegal was the first country in West Africa to try and build the Great Green Wall. I say build, grow the Great Green Wall. Yeah, and that's one of the main initiatives. So that is a really important one. Good. So we go with that one. A Great Green Wall. Lots of that. Okay. So I'm going to nip to water management. So that's good. Put that one up here. Water conservation. Absolutely. You've got to try and keep your soils irrigated. So we're going to go for a couple of strategies here that you may have heard of. Drip irrigation. Drip irrigation, which is also called more crop per drop. More crop per drop. So you're not wasting the water. You're getting more crop per drop. In fact, let's just draw a little water droplet here. There we go. So water conservation, more crop per drop. Sorry guys, I'm moving my sheet all over the place here. Let me just lift you up a little bit. There we go. More crop per drop. The other one is linked to water conservation, is rainwater harvesting. So if communities collected rainwater from the roofs, which rainwater harvesting is collect and store rainwater, and then you can keep your soils irrigated, which is absolutely key. Collect and store rainwater to irrigate soils, keep them damp, because if the soils are damp, the vegetation grows, and also the winds will not be able to blow it away. So there we go. Rainwater harvesting. Let's do drip irrigation and rainwater harvesting. Again, all of these strategies are being used in places like Senegal, which is part of, so we can put e.g. Senegal, shall we? E.g. Senegal. Water management in that region. It's always good to have a name, isn't it? Okay, let's have a look then. Afforestation, seed banks. Oh, interesting. Rehabilitation of the natural desert. Yeah. Right. Okay. So we've got 2 more, guys. This one is also a biggie. It's using stone bunds. Stone buns. Different geography teachers call it different names. Some people call it stone strips as well, but stone buns is a really important one. This was one to impress the examiner with. Okay, so we're going to draw a quick diagram for stone buns, and it's where you put a line of rocks along your field margin or wherever you want to put. So we put a line of large stones. Okay, and then so this is our desert land here, and then what happens is, get an arrow on. There's our little arrow. The water or the wind will wash away the topsoil, that fertile topsoil, and wash it down towards the barrier. So let me just put here organic matter, fertile topsoil, and excess water are trapped. So it doesn't get blown away or washed away, it gets trapped by the stone bund. And there we go. So it gets trapped by the stone bund, which then means that it's kind of preserved, it's not lost. And then, so next to the stone bund here, we tend to get much more fertile land where farmers can actually grow their crops. So it gets trapped by, where's the arrow coming in? So any water that's getting washed down, any surface runoff, any nutrients, all end up, these are all my little nutrients, here we go. So any nutrients or any water that gets washed down that slope gets trapped by the stone bund, and then it is good for agriculture. Yeah, they can farm next to it. And then improved yields or crops farming. You can farm next to the stone buns. A great little term for stone buns as well. Is there an example of appropriate technology? So they are appropriate for LICs. So appropriate for LICs. They're cost effective. Well, you don't have to buy anything. You just have to go and collect some large rocks. So they're very easy to maintain, very easy to repair, very cheap method. So yeah, appropriate technology. That's a buzzword, guys. If you write that in your exams about stone buns, you will get a mark for sure. Appropriate technology for low-income countries. So yeah, really good bit of technology. Yeah, that's how it works. Right, last but not least, guys, which is seen as, this is why I've saved the best till last. Is it the best? Education of farmers. So this is such an important one, because if we have a little look at it, most of the problems are caused by farmers, overgrazing, overcultivation, but the solutions are with the farmers. So farmers are the problem and solution, which is a really good thing, isn't it? Like if you're writing that in like an exam, you could argue that, yeah, farming is the problem and the solution to desertification. So what can we do? We can educate them on water conservation. So making sure that farmers are conserving water effectively. They could be taught about agroforestry, which is where you plant trees and crops together. Agroforestry. So you plant a tree and you plant your crops next to it. so that they are working in harmony together. Agroforestry. And that is there. And I've got just enough room. I'm running out of room here, guys, for one more thing, which is what they also teach them is crop rotation. So making sure that you never leave your land exposed, that you rotate your crops, you move around as well in there. Last but not least, family planning, contraception. I'm not going to draw a picture for that, guys. No chance. But if they're able to reduce the population, then the land pressures will be a lot less. So family planning as well. So education of farmers, they are the problem, but they are also the solution. Family planning would reduce the size of the population, but teaching them how to conserve water, how to plant alongside forestry and crop rotation as well is really beneficial. And where has this all been done? Senegal is a great example for a lot of these technologies. Burkina Faso, again, is a great place to talk about. Examples will help you get that grade 9, guys. So get those named examples into your answers. So let's have a look where we are there, guys. There is. Oh, can barely get it all on. How's your revision? Let us know in the chat, guys. How has your revision gone there on desertification? I'm struggling to get all mine in shot here. There we go. Almost all in, but I'm really happy with that. It's effective revision. It's really colourful, lots and lots of detail. And if you learn that, I tell you, you'll be well on with it if desertification comes up in the summer exams or in an assessment that you've got coming up in the future. A very fantastic case study. Thanks for everybody who's joined us on tonight's live stream. We are going to be leaving in about a minute's time. So yeah, huge thank you. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, do hit that thumbs up button. Thank you for everybody who's joined us for the chat and your contributions in the chat. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate that. If you want to share the video, please hit that share button. It does get it out to other geographers who may also want to do some home revision on desertification. And yeah, if you haven't hit the notification bell, hit that notification bell as well, so that you know our next live stream is next Monday. What should we do? I'll decide in the week to see what we're doing. So thank you very much, Miss Wright. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Amna, you always join us. You are amazing. Thank you very much. You're too kind. Great hosting. You're too kind. Thank you very much, Ellis. Great answers today. Awesome, mate. Keep coming back. We've got a few more before your exams as well. Harry, nice one. Thanks for joining us as well. Really appreciate that. James, you are a legend, and other legends are Harry and Jay. Really appreciate that as well. Okay, enjoy the rest of the evening, guys, and take care out there. Enjoy your geography revision and go and smash those exams. All the best. Bye-bye.